you're wanting a great native fruit, you can be getting fruit from this deep into fall, even into the start of winter, and they store forever. This is wild ground cherry. This specific species is Physalis virginiana. They call it the Virginia ground cherry. And you can see it gets these cool little, they call them lanterns. This is just the calyx of the flower, which you can kind of see right here, right at the top of the flower right there. Probably wondering, how do you actually grow this? Well, seeds are incredibly easy to come by. Start looking around the end of October probably, and these husks will be paper thin and see-through, and you can kind of see there's like an orange, almost even purple. Usually they're orange and purple marbled, and it can be as easy as just crushing that fruit and putting it right in the garden bed over winter. I've even just swept the floor after working with the fruit of this plant to collect seeds and thrown that out the door, and I've had plants come up there. The other way you can grow this, if you have plants on your property, is to dig up a rhizome. It grows from a rhizome, which makes it extremely easy to transplant. These were actually on the other side of my parents' property here, and I moved all of them so that we could transition the flower bed into a flower bed. And of course I was working with this plant at the time. I was trying to do some type of crossbreeding. Never actually got around to it. But I have this huge population here, and I mentioned it in a lot of other videos. This has got to be one of my favorite Solanaceae, if I'm being honest with you. I mean, look how unique that is. That is honestly just amazing to look at. And I'll show you a better view of how big this population actually is. Well, I mark with orange flags. These are in 3 foot apart. I believe this one actually got ripped out or something, but you know, you can see here it's coming all the way over here, and there's even some that pop up over here. These are from some old rhizomes that I put over here, but you can see there's some back there. So 1, 2, 3, and even maybe into 4 feet of straight Physalis virginiana, and you can see how many flowers are on this. So imagine how much fruit is going to come off of that. These are just like tomatoes. They have perfect flowers, so that means male and female flowers are in the same one, so they're self-fertile. You don't need two different plants. You just need one to start with, and it'll take over an area like this. You can kind of keep them cut back, you can pull them up, but personally I would recommend putting them in a part of the garden that either is at the edge or has a bit more shade to it. This population gets really big and it gets really tall because it is in full sun for at least 4 hours out of the day. So maybe if you put it in a shadier spot at the back of the garden, you'll have a little bit less of this spread if you really don't want that spread. But there's another video that's going to be out on the channel by the time this one gets out that kind of talks about how this can act as a ground cover and a physical barrier to other weeds. So make sure you check that one out. I want to stress that this is a very late season crop that you could have, unlike the domestic variety, the Aunt Molly ground cherry, which I think is some sort of hybrid, which fruits all summer and then dies off pretty early into the fall. This grows from basically about May. They start coming up, and then these fruits, they drop in usually late October into winter time even. So like, this is a really good late season crop. Flavor profile on this, it's called a ground cherry for a reason. It tastes kind of tart, like a cherry, like a sour cherry, but it also has this sweetness to it that's kind of hard to describe. It's a very almost tropical flavor to it, but it's also paired with a bitter, almost like sour, but not quite like a cherry, like acidic and sour, like you might think of a tomato as being acidic, or maybe a little sour if you pick it a little early. It's kind of in that range. It's ripe once it's definitely had a few good frosts. I just broke that. The flowers look cool though. I think they're moth pollinated, but I'm not sure. Probably bumblebees get to it, but self-fertile, as I said, so you don't even have to worry about it.